Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. And for those of you who are new here, hi, I'm Amy. I'm a full-time reseller primarily on the Poshmark app, but I do dabble on other online platforms and I sell locally. Today I'll be doing a ship with me video. In these videos, I go day to day and I share the different items that I'm shipping out. I talk about how much they sold for, what I paid for them, and what my profit was. So you want to be sure to watch all the way to the end because I always have interesting and unique items, and hopefully you can learn some new items to keep your eyes out for when you're out thrifting. So the first item sold on cherish.com, and it is this vintage Viking glass art glass owl. Isn't that just adorable? This wasn't listed for too terribly long. I had it listed for $149 plus a $5 packaging fee, and it sold for full price. So it was for $154. The packaging fee is in addition to the shipping fee, and the buyer pays all of that. So it just goes right into my pocket to offset the cost of my packaging. So that is pretty exciting. I only paid $6 for this. Cherish charges a 22% seller's fee. So after their fee and my cost of goods, that made my profit $115.22. I am just thrilled with that. I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way. Now, based on my research, that piece was by Viking Glass Company. And in my title, I use mid-century modern Viking glass owl blue art glass. Now, one thing I wanted to mention when I am selling hard goods and I'm talking about the different brands or designers, that information is based on my research, and I am not an expert on everything or all items, and sometimes I do make mistakes. So I would encourage you to do your own research when you are looking up and selling hard goods. If you can't definitively find information about your item, or if it's not signed or has a sticker, then I would recommend saying attributed to such and such brand if you genuinely think that it is by that brand. So the rest of the items sold on Poshmark. The first item is the semi-vintage Western leather belt, and it also has braided or hitched horsehair insets in there. This is by Justin, and it was marked. I do really well with this hitched horsehair. Sometimes you'll find them and the whole belt will be made out of horsehair. It kind of, when I first found one, I thought it was like braided nylon. I didn't know that it was horsehair, but the horsehair pieces are more expensive to begin with, and they have a better resale value. So this ended up selling for full price for $55. I have sold the horsehair belts for as much as $150, but this piece had a few flaws to it, and it just had the horsehair inserts, not full horsehair. But overall, I was thrilled with the $55. I had a few other quite low ball offers on this belt, like in the $20 range, that I didn't accept. So I'm glad that I didn't, because I ended up getting that $55. I had paid $1.50 for this. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $42.50. That is a really great profit as far as I'm concerned. The next item that sold is this vintage kind of rainbow colored woven belt. And I was actually surprised. I thought this would sell quicker and for more, but it has been listed for over a year, and it ended up selling for $18, which I'm still happy with. I just expected it to sell for a little bit more. I had it listed for $39. And this buyer started off by offering me $15. I think they had liked it, and I sent out a 10% offer with discounted shipping or something. But I decided to accept the $18 because it had been listed for a while, and I have been trying to accept reasonable offers in general, just because I have so much inventory, and if I am making a decent profit on an item, I am ready to move out some inventory so that I can make some space for new inventory. So like I said, it sold for $18. I had paid $3 for this. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $11.42 or 40 cents. That's just fine. I like to try and make closer to $15 or $20 on belts, but it doesn't always work out that way. So the next sale was a bundle sale, and the first item in the bundle was this vintage teen yellow. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but this was quite distressed and worn in looking. If I can find these, you know, vintage leather bags for a very affordable price, like at the bins or at a fill the bag sale, I will still pick them up because they inevitably sell in the $20 to $30 range for me. So I do think that it's still worth picking them up. This bundle sold for a total of $120. Of course, this handbag wasn't the bulk of the bundle. There is a pair of really cool boots that sold with it, and I will show you that in just a minute. I had picked this up at a fill the bag sale, so I paid maybe a quarter for it. One of our local churches does a fill the bag sale where it's $5 for a giant garbage bag. So you can get some really great deals at that sale. Okay, so the next item in the bundle was this pair of Corral. Is that what it is? Corral. Yeah, Corral boots. And they had this cool kind of fringe detail. They're knee high. They also had the fold over at the top and a little other details. These were pretty worn and distressed, so it's pretty obvious that this buyer likes that look. This brand has a pretty high retail value, so that's why I picked them up anyways, because they were substantial and they just had that cool look to them, and I figured that someone would still want them even though they had that distressed look. And maybe even some of that distressing came that way from the factory. I'm not really sure. I think I had just these boots listed for $129 and the bag listed for like $25 or something. The buyer added them to a bundle, and I sent her a 20% off offer with $5.95 shipping, I think, or $4.99, I'm not sure. And she counter offered with a total of $120. I decided to go ahead and accept that because I had paid $12 for these boots. And like I said, I had paid so little for that leather bag. So I only had about a $13 cost of goods. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that still made my profit $83. So that is excellent. Okay. I love it. I love seeing you know, buyers bundles because it really kind of gives you a look into what their style is, and I don't know, I just find that kind of interesting. So the next item that sold is another pair of boots, and these are by Laredo. They again were also scuffed up and distressed, but they were a nice pair of boots, and otherwise they weren't like crazy worn. They just had that distressing. So these were another full price sale. I haven't had many full price sales in a while, so I was thrilled this weekend when I had those two full price sales. These sold for $69. I had paid $5 for them at a yard sale. These had been listed a little while, probably almost a year, because I think I bought them last summer. But for a $5 investment, that's not that big of a deal for them to take a little while to sell. And in general, like I've said before, I am kind of a long tail seller, meaning that typically I like to wait for a higher sales price than do a quick flip with a lower sales price. Both ways are really great ways to run your business, and it just depends on, you know, how much space you have and how you want to run your business. Okay, so they sold for $69. I paid $5. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $50.20. Another really great profit that makes me really happy. I wish all of my sales and profits were high like that. Sorry, I just dropped the wrapping for this next sale. And I get a lot of questions about the plastic that I use. And it is dry cleaner garment bag rolls. And they're like 5 feet long, and I just cut them in half to reduce waste. This was actually cut down even more. I got mine in an estate sale, so I don't have a link to the specific ones that I use, but if you search on Amazon, plastic dry cleaner garment bag roll, you can find some similar. And they do look a little expensive, but usually there's like 500 or 1,000 on a roll, and it ends up being, you know, a good way to wrap your items. Like I said, I got mine in an estate sale. Probably when I run out, I'll buy paper instead of plastic, just because I think it's better for the environment. But however you want to package your items, I'm just sharing a tip for what I do. So the next item is this pair of Fry flip-flops. I was again hoping to get a little bit more for these, but was accepting offers this weekend. These sold for $20. And, you know, I wanted to keep in mind that they are just flip-flops, and I had only paid $3 for them. The good news is they did sell pretty quickly. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $13. So it's possible that I could have waited and sold these for a little bit more and made, say, another $5 to $10. But because it's summer and I had an interested buyer, I decided to just go ahead and accept that. Okay, the next item that sold is another pair of sandals. And I think these were a full price sale too. These had been listed since last summer. I relisted them and made some changes to the listing and the wording in it, and then they sold pretty quickly after that. They sold for $35, and they're just these kind of espadrille sandals. I went to a yard sale last summer that was so awesome. This gal was a college student who apparently had a big budget. Either she had a really great job or she had a big budget from her parents, because she had so many amazing shoes, you wouldn't believe it. And they were all, you know, like worn once or twice. And she was moving out of state, and she was just selling almost everything instead of packing it with her. So I spent like, I don't know, $250 at the sale and got a ton of amazing shoes. So these sold for $35. I paid $6. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $22. That's a nice little profit. Not going to complain at all. Oops. The next item that sold is this really fun vintage Hawaiian, Polynesian, hippie, psychedelic. I used all those words in the listing. And this little dress sold for $65. I'll show you the vintage label. I believe that this is from the 1960s, based on, you know, the print, color, and the cut of it. It was just such a fun piece. This is a consignment piece from a friend of mine, and she had some really amazing vintage clothing items that I just could not resist selling for her. Also, she just needed a little help out in clearing out some of the items that she had. Like I said, this sold for $65. I do a 50-50 split after Posh fees. So that means my cost of goods was $26 and my profit was $26. So hopefully she'll be happy with that. She probably could have made a little bit more if she listed it herself, but she just hadn't been up for it. So I think she will be happy with that. And I just think that is such a fun piece. I love saving these vintage items and finding them a new home. The next item is this pair of pink jeans by Jessica Simpson. Now, this is not something that I would normally pick up for resale. I was at a yard sale and they had a few different pairs of jeans in my size and they were only $1 a piece. So I just picked up multiple pairs, and I didn't end up liking the way that these, that the pink color looked. They kind of looked like I wasn't wearing any pants. And that's not really a look I'm going for, but that could have just been me. Hopefully the buyer likes these. They sold for $9 with $5.95 discounted shipping. So this is not one of my better sales. Like I said, I paid $1. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $3.03. Nothing too exciting. So like I said, I go day to day in these videos, so there will be at least 2 more clips, and hopefully I have some more exciting items to share with you in the next couple of days. I will see you then. Hi there, it's the next day and I have 7 sales to ship out. It's been a great 24 hours. I'm very excited. It's been a while since I've had a lot of sales in one day like this, so this makes me very happy. If you're enjoying my videos, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my channel. It's totally free and it really helps me out when you hit that subscribe button. Also, a few weeks ago, I asked about my intro and what you guys thought about it. Most of you said that you like it the way it is. One person recommended that I start including the name of my channel in my intro, which I think is an excellent idea. I never really thought of that people might forget what the name of my channel is, and if they go back to look for my videos, they may not be able to find them. So I'm going to start including Thrift Adventure in my intro somehow. I'm not sure. But let's get started with what sold. So I had 2 sales on Cherish and they were to the same buyer. So they bought this set of creamer and sugar. And this is by Franciscan. And Franciscan is a popular mid-century era brand. There are some patterns that are more popular than others, but I picked this up just because it was Franciscan and it had kind of that mid-century atomic vibe. So for this set, my title was Mid-Century Modern 1960s Franciscan Del Mar, which is what this pattern is, creamer and sugar bowl atomic blue decor. So this set ended up selling for $76. I'm very excited about that. I had it listed for $89 and they made me an offer. I thought that was very reasonable. I had paid just $5 for this set. So after Cherish's fee and my cost of goods, that made my profit $55.60. I think that's awesome. These took a few months to sell, but not really very long. And then they also bought the matching salt and pepper shakers. I picked these up all at the same place. I also got a second creamer and sugar set. So the salt and pepper shaker sold for $65. That is a great sale for salt and pepper shakers. I paid $3 for this set. So after Cherish's fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $48.36 on salt and pepper shakers. That is awesome. As usual, I'm going to package these up off camera. So I will move them out of the way so they don't get broken. I think that is a really great sale considering what I paid for those. And the comps on that particular style aren't high like that typically. So I think it's a pretty great sale. This is also a pretty exciting sale. This is a vintage sterling silver brooch. And it was by a certain designer. I wish I would have written it down. It sold for $70. If you are interested in the designer and the marking, you can just look at my sold listings and you can sort to brooches and it'll show you this recently sold one. So $70 is very exciting for this. I picked it up because I thought that it was sterling, and my eyes aren't as good as they used to be, but I was pretty sure I saw a sterling mark. So that's why I picked it up. But it was only $1 at the estate sale. You can see how tarnished it is. And probably if I had have tried to polish this up and remove that tarnish, I might have been able to get a little bit more. But because the petals, they were kind of movable and bendable, and it just would have been a lot of work, frankly, to polish it up. So I decided not to. Let's see, I might add more padding to that off camera. But like I said, it sold for $70. I paid $1, which made my profit $55. I think that is awesome again. And this only took maybe 1 to 2 months to sell. So a pretty quick sale. The next item is another brooch of sorts. This is more of a tie tack, and it is a little knight with a shield that has little rhinestones in it. This only took less than a week to sell, and it sold for $25. I don't always do that great with tie tacks or cufflinks, but again, this was just $1. I picked it up originally because I thought that it might be real gold just based on the color of it, but it turned out it wasn't. So I listed it anyways. I am very happy with the $25. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $16.98. A nice little profit for a $1 investment. I'm pretty excited also about this next sale. This is a really nice belt, and this is by Leather Rock. And these have a pretty high retail when they're new. I've sold this brand before, and they're kind of a Southwest boho type vibe, the ones that I've gotten, and they're very nice quality. Sometimes, or they're usually embellished like this. I'll show you what the mark looks like. We'll see if you'll be able to see that. Yeah, there we go. So this ended up selling for $58. I think that is really great. I had one buyer in particular that kept trying to buy this, but they were only offering me like $20. They started out at $15. And I think we went back and forth, and they eventually came up to like $28. And I considered accepting that, and then I looked at it and looked at the detail again and just decided not to. So I counteroffered them with a higher amount, and they went away. So I had this listed for $69, and this buyer offered me $58. I thought that was more reasonable and in the realm of what I wanted to get for this, so I decided to go ahead and accept it. I had paid $5 for this. I did pay up a little bit more than I typically pay for belts, but because it was this brand, I knew that I would be able to get a little bit, or typically I can get a little bit higher price for this brand because they are beautifully made and they have a higher retail price. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $41.40. I am adding extra packaging to this just because it has those stones and rhinestones, and I don't want it to get jostled around and broken in transit. I did forget to make up boxes for my items. That's why I'm just setting things on the side. The next item also sold pretty quickly. This is a pair of Vionic sandals, and they are basically like new. I picked this pair and another pair up because the Goodwill had them priced affordably. They only had them priced for $5, and they were almost like new. The other pair already sold. And these, I think, only were listed in the neighborhood of about a month. So not very long, which is great. And these sold for $41 with discounted shipping. A buyer liked them, and my Posher VA sent them out a 10% off offer with discounted shipping. So I think I had these listed at like $46. So for a $5 investment, I am happy with that sales price. So that made my profit $27.80. I think that's great. I've said in the past that I don't always do that well with Vionic, and some of you had said that it depends on the style and the condition, and I think that's true. I need to be more aware of the style when I'm picking things up, or those were like new, so I knew that they would sell. Also, they were in season. So the last item is this Brooks Brothers lamb's wool full zip sweater. This is a really beautiful sweater, and honestly, I thought that it would sell for a little bit more, but it sold for $24. I could have waited, but I would have had to wait probably till winter to get more, and I had only paid 50 cents for this. So I just decided to, the buyer and I had gone back and forth for a while, and they were driving a hard bargain. You know how those buyers, certain buyers will start at a low dollar amount, and then they'll just come up $1 each time, which I find kind of annoying, but it's just part of the deal, and they just want to get a good deal just like you or I would when we're out thrift shopping. So I just decided to go ahead and accept that $24. Like I said, I paid 50 cents. So after posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $18.70. All in all, a really great 24 hours. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So compared to yesterday, it's just interesting to me when I have a lot of sales. So yesterday, I think I shipped out 8 items, and today I have 7 items, but I sold almost $200 less in this 24 hours. So sometimes even if it seems like you have a lot of sales, if they're lower dollar sales, it just doesn't add up to as much. So I really like to try and find items that sell for higher amounts. But you know, if we could always find the great items, we would all be rich. Okay, so there will be at least one more clip after this, so don't go anywhere, keep watching, and hopefully I have some more exciting things to share. I'll see you then. Hi, it's a few days later, and I had those 2 really great days, and then it was a couple of days on Poshmark. I only had 1 sale in 48 hours and nothing on Cherish, and then I ended up having a Cherish sale and a couple more Poshmark sales. So all in all, it turned out to be a pretty good week. It's just weird how, you know, one day you'll have a whole bunch of sales and then you won't have any sales for a couple of days, but as always, I am thankful for the sales that I do have. So let's get started. The first item that sold is this Anthropologie dinner plate. And I found this at the Goodwill, and I saw the guy take it off the new rack and go to take it to put it on the shelf. And then I couldn't figure out where he put it. And then when I found it, it was marked $10. So I him-hawed and him-hawed. I had it in my cart for a while, and I almost didn't get it because it was $10. I did look up comps, and the comps were great on this particular pattern. I can't remember. I think on eBay, the sold comps were between like $50 and $70. So I listed this on Cherish and I listed it for $95. It sold for full price. Plus I had a $5 packaging fee, which brought the total sale price to $100 for one dinner plate. So boy, am I happy that I picked this up. I just couldn't resist it. The original reason that I wanted to get it was because I saw all the detail when he was bringing it out, but then I saw this like raised anchor and it looked like it was signed, so I thought that it was something older, and that's why I was interested in it. I used Google image search to look this up because I did not know, or maybe actually I looked up this S&P Co and I put octopus, and that's how I found out it was from Anthropologie. Anyways, one of those is how I figured it out. So my title for this was Anthropologie from the Deep, which was the pattern name, Dinner Serving Plate, Blue Octopus Squid Nautical Motif. So as you can see, I put all the keywords in there that I could think of. This didn't take too long to sell, probably between a month and 2 months. So I'm really excited about that. I am going to move this out of the way and package it up off camera. I have recently had a couple of requests for a packaging video, and I do already have one that talks about how to package a couple of different types of items. I don't know if I'll be doing another one soon because that video really didn't perform very well and it took a little bit of time to put it together. So I will try and remember to link that in the description box. If I forget, don't hesitate to leave a comment and remind me to put that in there. Okay, so the plate sold for a total of $100. I paid $10. So after Cherish's fee and my cost of goods, that made my profit $69.10. I am thrilled with that. Really great profit for a dinner plate, and I'm sure glad I ended up picking that up. Okay, so the next item that sold is this really pretty turquoise necklace, and this is by J. King, and his pieces are sold on QVC or HSN, and he also has a website. But as I've talked about before, some of these QVC and HSN designers can be quite collectible. And so I like to try and familiarize myself. I don't know if you're going to be able to see. Yeah, you're not going to. I like to familiarize myself with the marks for those designers. This one I did not know, so I asked in one of the jewelry groups on Facebook, and they told me what it was. I think it's called J. King Mine Finds on the Home Shopping Network, and then the company is called like Desert Trading Company. Let's see, I'm going to finish packaging this up off camera because I just want to make sure that it gets nice and tight so that that pendant doesn't break. So this ended up selling for full price for $99. I'm thrilled with that. Some of his pieces can have a decent retail. This did take a while to sell, I think over a year, but I had it listed for $99. I had paid $6 for it. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $73.20. Another really amazing profit. This next item is not quite as big of a profit, but as I always say, every little bit counts, and you can't always find $99 items. So you got to have a mix of everything. But it's this fun, probably 1960s daisy brooch. This was signed Sarah Coventry, I believe. Her stuff, you know, it was a home party, kind of like Avon. And so there is a lot of it floating around. Some of the pieces can be collectible, but in general, Sarah Coventry items don't bring a really high dollar amount. This ended up selling for $16 with discounted shipping. I can't remember how much I had it listed for, but I sent out, because I hadn't had very many sales since Tuesday, I sent out 30% off offers with discounted shipping on everything in my closet. And that was one of them that the buyer accepted. I had paid just $1 for this, which is, you know, I don't like to pay more than $2 or $3 for brooches because they don't sell for high dollar amounts typically. Some will, but most, you know, you're talking in the $10 to $25 range for brooches. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $9.78. A lot different than those others, but you know, again, every little sale can boost your overall total for the week, month, year, whatever. The next item is this super fun pair of vintage kind of pinup heels. Now, I thought these were from the 1950s or 1960s, but the buyer said that she wore something similar in the 1970s, which I guess could be with this woodblock heel. Either way, these are so cute, and they're actually marked bear traps. I don't know if you can see that. These also took a little while to sell. Maybe just under a year, and they sold for $83. I did have them listed, I think, for $129 because this pinup style shoe, it can command a pretty high price. Now, you know, if you're looking to get that high price, you're not going to list it for that and then sell it the next day. It usually takes the right buyer to come along and want to, you know, buy the item, that particular item. These were a size 7, and the buyer said she's a size 9, but it must just be, you know, something nostalgic that she wants to get these shoes. And I do think they would look cute on, you know, in a closet, open closet, or a bookshelf for display. Okay, so did I say these sold for $83? I had paid $6 for them. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $60.40. I am thrilled with that. You know, and for items like that that don't take up much space, I have no problem. You know, and if they're vintage and unique, I have no problem waiting for the right buyer to come along to get a high dollar amount. Okay, so another vintage item. It is this vintage cardigan, plaid cardigan sweater. This kind of had a designer vibe to it. It's clearly, let's see, let me get this close. Clearly vintage by the tag, probably from the 50s or 60s. I just thought it was so cute and unique. This ended up, I was hoping to get more for this, but it had been listed for a while. And this is one of the items that I sent the 30% off. Well, I did everything, but the buyer accepted. So it sold for $38 with discounted shipping, which is still a fine amount. It did have some pilling and wear, which is to be expected since it's probably 50 plus years old. I did pay up a little bit for this. I paid $6 for it. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $22.38. Still a nice little profit, and I really hope the buyer loves this because I just thought it was really a cute, unique piece. Well, that is it for this week, but with some of those high dollar sales that I had, it turned out to be a really great week overall. My total sales were $1,240. My total cost of goods was $114, so more than 10 times my money. And then my total profit after website fees, my cost of goods, and any shipping discounts, my total profit was $865.05. Real close to my $1,000 goal. I am very happy with that. Sometimes summer's a little slower for me, so you know, I just try and keep listing and hope for the best. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I so appreciate you watching. Anytime you can give my videos a thumbs up and comment down below and hit that subscribe button, it really helps me out and encourages me. Okay, I'll see you next week. Thanks again for watching.